Hello, welcome back to another review. Okay, this is for this guy, and this is Mastermind Creations, Cynicus, aka Voss. Now, I don't know too much about this guy. In fact, I know nothing about him in the comics. But I saw I saw a video, and he looked fantastic. And he goes with Feral Rex, so I thought, well, why not? He does come in the standard Mastermind Creations box. So you have some nice artwork on the front. You do, of course, get the little window that opens. There's his manual. You get a nice little bit of artwork. And then you get the various modes on the back. So it's just the standard Masterminds box. So here's the guy himself. He cost a lot of money for what you're getting. I don't quite think you get your money's worth, but I can see why they had to charge that. He is very kind of... He's got a lot of small parts on him, so I can see why it would have cost them more to make him. But here he is. Now, you can fit his stuff on the back, but the only problem is that this bit here, when you attach it, pushes this bit here forward. So you do get a little bit of an uneven tilt to that section of the shoulders. So here he is, and he's got the full range of articulation. He is very... I don't know what these bits are for. That I can't see them making any kind of... any sort of use in either robot or gun mode. But yeah, he has a full range of articulation. He has these huge feet, but he does need them to distribute the weight on his feet when he's holding the huge sniper rifle. This thing here on his arm, it's there for alt mode, but it just kind of hangs there. You can fold it back if you wish. To me, it doesn't really bother me. I've seen a couple of people it does seem to irritate, and I don't know... Well, it doesn't really bother me too much. It just looks like an extra weapon he's holding. Now, he does come with two extra faces. Well, an extra head and an extra face. You can... There's a little tiny screw in the back of his head, which you can unscrew and replace it. That's it, you get the extra head, and you get the extra face. Which, it's a darker face, and it looks to be a darker head as well, from what I can see. So let's up close, have a quick look at the finer details. He's got a very nice head sculpt. He doesn't have very much emotion on his face, but it's very nicely defined. It's nicely sculpted, and it's quite nice. The eyes, it's not like piping, but the eyes still manage to shine through quite nicely. They are quite piercing, to be honest. But yeah, he does have the full range of articulation. He does have a double shoulder joint. His wrists are on a ball joint. His head's on a ball joint as well. He does have a nice... This deep purple is the kind you probably expect to see probably on Cyclonus. So it's a very, very nice deep purple. It goes really well with the grey and the lighter grey. Because, yeah, it's a lighter grey. Yeah, he's got some detailing in the inner thigh. That's more for alt mode. So that's more for when he becomes into a sniper rifle. But yeah, he's got this kind of... At first I thought it was red, but it is actually pink. Down the arms and also down onto his legs. He does have, again, a lot of nice detailing around the foot area. These are the pins which will come out once he's in his alt mode. And they're the usual 5.5mm pins, so most figures can hold that quite nicely. So yeah, that is Cynicus close-up. So I still have no idea what these are for, though, sadly. I'm pretty sure I'm missing something. I mean, they do kind of slot... That's where they're meant to sit in robot mode. Yeah. As to why or what they do, who knows. But, there we go. His sniper rifle, this part is fairly nicely detailed, I suppose. It's again, it's got the same nice deep purple and pink colour going on. It's not really all that much, to be honest, but then again, it's only part of the actual overall thing, so I'm not too fussed with that. Okay, so the transformation is a little bit fiddly, to say the least. So, first thing, what they don't mention in the manual is you need to unclip this from his back. Because the first step they show is to unclip these from the front and part them to get them away from his midsection. But that won't work unless you actually just pull this out from the back and get it out the way. There we go. In actual fact, you might as well rotate it now because you're going to need to do that later on. So now you can just open up his midsection. And these are on ball joints and just flip them back. His pelvis, you can turn around. And then this joint here, you just accordion up. In actual fact, we'll move his chest around now, because his chest is going to get in the way. So there we go. So yeah, so you need to also rotate his chest, so it fits in quite nicely. They show that as the next step in the instructions, but I do that now just so you can actually get it all nicely firmly pushed up. His head, you turn around, and then flip back. You need to also make sure that you do tilt his head right back. And then once he sits in that position there, get his front parts and tab them over his face. And there we go. Now, his arms we'll leave until the last because they're the least of the problems we're going to get. So what we need to do now, you need to, basically, this bit here needs to come all the way through in his legs, and eventually something's meant to tab into there. Now, you've got here two slots. You've got that one and that one there, so you need to turn the thighs in and the legs around. And then this bit, flip it that way. You might as well do this now. That bit, it seems a bit fiddly at first, but it does actually work. You just have to kind of convince it to flip around. And then you've got that port there, which will go into one of those parts. And this bit here, you need to rotate like that. So that bit will slot into the round hole. And if you do it right, it should all fit together quite nicely. What you can do to make it even less of a problem, you can just pull that off for now, because that will get in the way, and it is just on a ball joint, because this bit is exceptionally fiddly. Now, you might come across this problem which I've got right now. The thing is, you've got to make sure that's pushed in very tightly, and if you do that, and then just apply a bit of pressure here, and push his legs down, there's a bit of a tension point, which if you can do that, because ultimately this bit here needs to be above here, this ball joint needs to be above his pelvis section so this can fit in. So at first you may get a kind of a U-bend in his frame, but there's a little tiny pressure point. If you just apply a bit of pressure and push up, it kind of flicks, and then you get into this position here, which is where you want to be. So now we can just attach this bit back on. Oop, not that bit. So there's a little tiny tab there, which, once it's on the ball joint, just slots into the pelvis. And there we go. There are two... he's basically going to hold his nipples. There's no other way of getting around that. He's got these two slots on here. Now, as you can see already, because of the way this is formed, there's a slight curve in him. But there's no way I can find getting around that. So I just kind of leave it be. It's just easier that way, just to accept him for what he is. So with the arms, you basically fold the shoulders up, and then you want him just basically hold those bits there. For me, he doesn't hold it all that great. They will flop out quite a lot, but there's very little you can do about that. So you just got to live with it, basically. And again, we just push his arm around. This bit, we just fold up out the way for now. Now, you'll notice there's two little tabs on his arms, and that is to go into these little slots on here. So basically, this just goes in, and they'll just tab in and theoretically hold it in place. They don't, but it's meant to. Get the hand around there. See, the hands just, there's not enough grip on there to hold it all together. I mean, it does kind of secure it, so it won't fall off, but it's the hands, they're just, the pins need to be longer on there. And so there we have his robot mode. Now, his alt mode. You can flip these down, the 5.5mm pins, so they can be held by most figures. There's two of them. As to why, who knows. These bits again flip down, so it can be. So it can be positioned as a sniper rifle. Now, he can be held by Feral Rex. There is a bit of an artwork to do in this, though. First of all, we need to flip these pins up and over like that. You then need to part open his legs, and this bit slots in. Make sure it's all fastened together. You're not fastening together for some reason. There we go. So it's fairly sturdy. You then get the Feral Rex fist. Now what I found is it will fit in there, but you can only flip these fingers around and the thumb. And there we go. It's not... It is secure. It won't fall out very easily, but it's not as secure. Basically because these... I mean, it's a nice design because he's obviously got a... It looks like he's actually holding the trigger, sort of. So it will actually fit inside the Feral Rex wrist, but that's the only way you're going to really get to do it. You can flip these about the way, but to be honest, that doesn't improve the grip at all. At first I thought it would do, but then I realised the problem is these fingers right here. So, yeah, there is Voss, well, Cynicus. He's a very... He costs a lot of money for what you get, but he is very fun to pose. His alt mode, it is very nice. I mean, I do like his alt mode. it does have a very kind of sinister look to it. So, yeah, and it is kind of unique. I mean, he's a sniper rifle. You can go a little bit Inception, and if you get two of these guys, he can hold himself. So, that will be a fun day out for him. But yeah, so there we go. So that is Mastermind Creation Cynicus. I like him, but he's very expensive. But there we go. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.